Hi, for today's video, I'll be showing you how to create an account in Dynamics 365 with customer data from AWS SQS using Advantco's AWS adapter. This is a scenario I'll be demonstrating for today, where an application will publish customer data to a queue in Amazon SQS, and then using Advantco's AWS adapter, we'll gather that customer information in OIC, create our message mapping, and then using Advantco's Dynamics 365 adapter, we'll create an account in Microsoft 365. One thing I do want to mention about this integration is that if you want a more detailed look at how to integrate OIC with Dynamics 365, please refer to our previous video. The first thing we need to do before creating our integration flow for this scenario is establish our connection to AWS. As you can see, I've done so right here. So if we go in and click on the connection, we can see how we have it configured. We have our service type being SQS, as we defined earlier, as well as our access key, our secret key, and every other configuration we need to connect to AWS for this scenario. This is important because this is how we'll gather our customer data to create an account in Dynamics. After establishing our connection to AWS, we then can go in and create our integration flow for this scenario. As you can see, we have our connection to AWS where we're pulling account data, and then we have our message mapping, and then our upsert to Dynamics where we're creating our account. One thing I do want to show you is our specific configuration for the queue we'll be using in Amazon AWS SQS. So if we go in and we click through to see the brief summary of everything going on for this configuration, we can see that we have our general configuration as service type SQS with a polling interval every 60 seconds. And then here is where we defined our direct connection to the queue we'll be pulling our account data from. Further, we have our receive message request. And then if we scroll further down, we have our processing parameters, meaning that every message that's successfully processed, it'll delete the message to Amazon SQS to not further fill that up. And as we scroll further down, we have further configuration that you might need for your scenario. However, for this scenario, we have a specific schema we'll be using for the mapping, as you can see right here. And as we scroll further down, we can also see we're enabling variable substitution and content conversion for this scenario. Next, I want to show you a brief overview of the mapping for this scenario, where we have our source schema from AWS and our target schema from Dynamics 365. And as we go down and open up the attributes under our account schema for Dynamics 365, we can see we have our website, telephone, and name all mapped to the customer name, phone, and website in AWS SQS. This is important because we want the data transfer to be fluid and make sure it transfers in the correct format. Finally, the last thing we need to do is test and make sure our integration is working properly. We do this by opening the queue we created in AWS SQS and going to send and receive messages. As we open that up, we want to enter the test payload we'll be sending through. As you can see, I already have one right here, so I'm going to go ahead and copy and paste that in. And one thing I do want to note is that we'll be creating an account in Dynamics with the customer name demo2. So that's the difference we'll be looking for when we refresh our accounts in Dynamics. So I go ahead and send the message through. We should see a change in our Dynamics instance. So if I go in and search for demo, we'll have a demo2 account created with the account information below, as you can see with the telephone number and website. Further, if we go in and we refresh our integrations, we can see we have a message received in our Dynamics account upsert integration, and it was processed successfully. Using Advantco's AWS adapter for OIC makes integration quick and easy.